mean, remember, there's going to be mornings very soon where you walk outside at 78 degrees, 80 degrees.
And humidity's 100%.
Exactly.
Yeah, 99.
With the sun in the sky.
Right. Yeah, high humidity does not mean it's raining.
Yeah. People always think, oh, if it's 100% humidity, it's raining. That's not what it means.
Precipitation is when it's raining. Yeah.
So, but it is a perfect time to do some early morning gardening.
Early morning gardening, late afternoon stuff. Need to get up and clean up the yard. I know my yard's full of leaves and stuff, so because I don't have grass per se, I have stuff and I have trees. So all the gum leaves are on the ground, all the gum burrs are on the ground. So when I'm off, I'm going to have to do some yard cleanup. I'm not necessarily doing any pruning. I've got a couple of I should have taken a picture of that really ugly plant because I should have taken a picture before it got hit with the cold and after. And it looks it looks dead.
Oh, my mom looks dead.
But it should. I'm quite hopeful that it will come back from the bottom. And with it being dead, it's going to make it easier for me to move it anyway.
Well, my mom looks dead.
Does she?
The daylily, the peace lily. She looks dead. But when you pick up her bonnet,
underneath,
because she has a bonnet, and so all the leaves have fallen over, so it looks like a little ant. It looks like an ugly ant hill.
Right.
Okay,
right.
That's
like
about
leaves,
about a foot and a half high.
Right.
So it doesn't look, but it's very compact now.
Right. Yeah.
So the leaves have laid and sucked. So when you pick the leaves up and look under it,
there's
about 4 inches from the dirt up, about 4 inches, there's green everywhere.
Right.
And then it's brown again. So I'm just going to have to go in with a pair of clippers.
We're going
to repot her, and then take a pair of clippers and just clip all that brown out.
Clip all the brown stuff out. And being she got knocked back, you might even be able to do a little root pruning and put her back in that same size pot.
Maybe.
That she's not now. She's not near as large as she was.
She
so,
is not.
yeah. So she, going back.
But I think I want to go ahead and put her in a new pot.
Anyway. Some fresh soil.
Get it
that
done.
Kind of stuff,
and with
they give her plenty of room.
The damage she's had done to her. Yeah. The new soil,
it's
the nutrients
it's going to be beneficial. Exactly. Yeah, if anything potted where we're thinking about that. And even if she was going to be something that you could keep or would keep in the house for a few weeks, you could even do that, leave it in the house, that nice bright room. And that way, if there's the temperature fluctuations, they're not going through that. The house is a set temperature pretty much. And, that taking care of that kind of cold damage because it's a containerized plant that you could keep inside. I've got one in the house right now kind of going. I've clipped a little off. I said, okay, there's still some green here. I'm going to let that be. I don't want to, even though those pieces are dead, I'm waiting to see. I'm not going to just yank them out. I want to see whether or not anything comes from that root area. I hope so because I really didn't mean to kill that one. I didn't, it was one of those things. I thought it was hardier than what it was. It was a Gloxinia Bolivian sunset, which has got a really cool orange flower in the fall and into the winter. And when I looked it up, it was cold hardy, but just not quite as cold hardy as I thought.
I'm worried about the lemon tree and the grapefruit tree.
All the leaves fell off?
Gone.
Yeah. Give it a chance.
And the stems look brown.
All of them?
All of them.
Yeah, but still, I'd still give it.
But it's a tree.
Yeah,
and so
it's
chance. Bark.
Yeah, there's energy, right? And there's energy still in the trunk because
all the buds are gone. All the buds are gone. And the grapefruit tree had like 20 buds.
Oh, well, hopefully, maybe it may. You never know on something like that. I know the peaches and the plums and things like that. If those buds got damaged and are falling off, that's it for this year.
But
sorry.
Orange citrus trees.
Citrus trees are a little bit different.
Right.
Yeah, they're a little bit different on that. And something like a lemon, a lot of times is what they call an ever-blooming or an ever-bearing, where they will bloom several times a year and set some fruit several times a year. I've even seen, we had trying to remember if that one was the Hamlin. Trying to remember if we had the Hamlin or the Parson Brown, and my sister-in-law had the other one. But whichever one it was, it actually carried 2 separate crops in 1 year, which I was surprised, and it ripened both.
Oh.
Which was, it did that June flush, and it actually fruited, and we got ripe fruit from both, from the February March bloom, and then the June one.
If you'd like to talk to Caroline Baldwin, give her a call, 352-622-9620. 22 is the number to get involved. 352-622-9622. If you have any questions about your grass, your shrubs, your gardens, your soon-to-be gardens, your food gardens, your flower pot, your flower beds, anything like that, call Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin, 352-622-9622. Now, you said you're not pruning anything.
I'm not pruning anything.
It's late February. I thought this is the time.
But even, and I wasn't paying attention to the news guy the other day, the weather guy the other day, when he said something, it's not going to be, but he said something about that there's another cold front coming.
There probably will be one more.
Yeah. I don't know if it's going to get down into those really cold temperatures. I haven't looked up a long-term, an extended forecast, but the best you're going to get on an extended forecast for most of us is 10 days out.
Right.
Anything more than I think it's 4 is still a guess. Even with modern technology.
I'd be very surprised if we got a hard freeze.
I would too. I really would too. But then again, it's
happened.
Yes.
I remember St. Patrick's Day where it was 29 degrees.
Yes. Yeah.
So
and that's happened. We've had the March 13th storm that we had all the winds and that. Because going out to, what do I got here? We have that's not even that low. 49. Yeah, nothing too bad, at least up until the 8th of March.
Yeah, but like you said, their accuracy after about 4 days goes way down.
Way down. It does. It's and it's funny because it hasn't that time frame hasn't improved even from the 60s. That the weather predictions with all of the modern technology and all of the satellites and things like that, weather prediction for extended forecast still isn't a whole lot better than what it was in the 60s.
Good morning, you're on with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
I don't get to listen often, so perhaps you've answered this previously, but I've got a bed with several knockout roses in it, and my question would be, when's the best time to cut them back? How much do you cut them back? And are there any particular fertilizers you should not use on them?
Oh, okay. You can cut knockouts. Knockouts are fantastic for the sake that you can cut them back pretty much at any time. But here it is with February. Usually I think of roses and I think of Valentine's Day, and that you can cut them back then. But this is a good time still. And you could take them. About how tall are they?
They probably range from 1.5 feet to 3 feet.
Okay. Boy, that 1.5 feet's a little guy. That's a small one. Yeah, that one I probably wouldn't prune a whole lot, but I would take that one, get it shaped up. You can take the other ones down to say about a foot. And that way everything, because it'll take it about 6 weeks to really flush out real good, and you'll have all kinds of nice new growth. Clean out well around them. Roses love cow manure. So if you got yourself a bag of black cow or something like that, and throw several shovelfuls up underneath there, just rake it smooth. I don't know if there's any fertilizers not to use on roses, but I am a fan of the ones that have the systemic insecticide. Just because, and it's a pelletized form. So it's a slow fertilizer. It's going in. You've cut everything back, so this is not that it's going into any buds or anything like that, but it does help with some of the insect issues that they can have.
Mm-hmm. Do you recommend a liquid solution of like Miracle-Gro from time to time?
I've just never been a big fan of the liquid fertilizers in landscape plants. Only for the sake that when we water, it washes it away. So the pelletized or the granulated type fertilizers are much longer lasting, and so they feed more efficiently over a period of time. It's like having breakfast, lunch, and dinner all month long versus, here we go, we're going to have an energy drink with a blast of a liquid fertilizer.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you for the call.
Welcome. Yeah, that with any of the fertilizations, and we are getting ready to start that. I mean, another couple weeks, go ahead and get you a bag of fertilizer. There's several out there. Many people like the truly pelletized fertilizers, which are like the Osmocote, the Dynamite. I'm sure each store has their own brand, and they do. They look like little pellets almost, and they're all like either one color or there's 2 or 3 colors in the container. In potted plants, you're using like a spoonful of it, and it's going to feed the plant in a container for months and months. In the landscape, you're going to use it. I would be looking for some that might say Florida formula or Southeastern formula, because what it is the coatings on them are set up for our temperature and humidity. You figure we're not like, as I say very often, we're not like other states. We're going to 88, 90 degrees, today or by the end of the week for just a short time, but our humidity is going to start to creep up over the next, period of weeks, period of months. So any of these fertilizers, sunlight, temperature, humidity, rain, all of these things are how they break down and feed the plant. So with ours, they can break down very quickly unless they are set up as something that would be, say, a southern blend or a southeastern or a Florida blend. Look for that on your label. But those are great fertilizers for landscape plants as well as your container plants, because they do offer you a very slow release. There are some other ones, and I'm sure there's more than one brand, but there's some out there that are like for the whole landscape that are more of just your granulated fertilizers that you can put out by the handful or your hand spreader and things that are like an 8010. Sometimes you might find like an 8210. Might have a 4th number in there. That's usually just an iron source. I believe on that when they might give you an 8212 5, and that 5 is like 5% iron in there. Not all the plants needed it all the times, and a lot of them flip your bag over, read your ingredients, read your levels in there, because a good fertilizer is not going to have, they'll have more than just the 8010, the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. They will then also have your magnesium and manganese and boron and iron and things like that. That's something else you're looking for in a bag of fertilizer. We will be getting ready, first of March. You can probably, on your landscape plants, start putting that down. If your mulched areas, go ahead and pull that mulch back, get your fertilizer around there, give them a good drink of water. We've been dry.
Yes.
We have been dry. Landscape plants don't need to sit on irrigation unless they're newly planted. Established plants need water when we're very dry. So get your fertilization down, give them a good drink of water, fresh mulch on top. Remember not to volcano mulch, which means to bring that mulch all the way up into the stems and up on the trunks or up on the stems of the plants. Leave a little hollow between your mulch and the stems of the plant. And that way you can even water if you find yourself hand watering some of those more established plants.
622-9622 is the number to call if you want to get some advice from Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin. The last caller asked about his knockout roses.
Yeah.
And you suggested black cow because they love manure. Why is it that roses really particularly take to manure so well?
I don't know if it's because it just is such a good a soil amendment that it helps to retain moisture, and just because cow manure really is what I believe it's like a 0.5. So it's a half of 1% of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, but there's just something about it roses love. I've seen roses come back almost from the brink of death with just a few shovelfuls of manure. And so it can work wonders on many different plants, and it's one that you could consider either earth friendly. I don't know whether or not they call it an OMRI listed product,
right?
But it is a natural product that you can use if you're not into the synthetic fertilizers. I personally stay away from some of the organic fertilizers. I've used them, but I've also then had raccoons and possums dig up the vegetable plants or the beds or the pots, knock them over, tear it up completely because they can smell it. There is an odor in those, and even if it's not offensive to us, it's surely attractive to them. Um, and sometimes they'll even dig in them because you've got great soil in there, and they're hunting for the earthworms that are going in
Right.
there. They will turn over a bed for you. That's for sure.
And it's just because they're looking for a food source.
Right, they're looking for a food source, and so that's another reason when we're doing our compost bins is that we're not putting those meat products. If you think about it, a lot of the or many of the organic fertilizers are fish meal.
Right.
That it's a meat source. Or it smells like a food source for them. It's been processed, but so it's nothing. Or feather meal, poultry meal, all of these things that
To
come
them,
from
it
an
smells
industry.
like chicken.
To them, there's KFC and Long John Silver's buried in the yard there. So it's one of those kind of things that I've had an issue with, but then again, I have, in my neighborhood, I've got raccoons, I've got possums, I've got armadillos all through the neighborhood. The only thing I don't think I have is bears, deer, and coyote. But the coyote may be there.
I want to give a thought to you here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
They just came behind my house.
Right.
And ripped all the chain link fence up from the county to re-fence the retention pond.
Oh, okay.
And they also cut the retention pond a little sharper and everything.
Okay, clean that up. Yeah, make it a little deeper.
Took some
or whatever.
trees out that were evasive trees, like China berry trees and everything.
Yeah.
Because they were tearing the fence up and
Right.
everything. So I asked the guy, I said, how many projects like this do you have going on? He goes, they're going on all over the county right now. This is our spring cleaning time.
Right.
And he gave me a bit of information that I hadn't thought about. He goes, make sure you carefully watch your dogs and your pets and all, because we don't know what we're freeing up out here. And I thought about that, and because messing with habitats like that all in those deep grasses, you can get rabbits that are on the move. You can get snakes that are on the
certainly,
move. You can get moles and armadillos.
Mm-hmm.
Things that not only can hurt your pets, but they can hurt your yard as well.
Right,
and your garden as well.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like in my neighborhood, I've had some, they cleared a lot next door to me. So that quite possibly why I had more activity. I actually had more hawk activity because now he can see the mice and things like that down in there. So that to me was quite a benefit on that part of it. But yes, when they're working on those areas, and there's a good chance that they're actually making those retention areas better. Not just cleaning them up, but actually improving the function.
The way they
of
shaved
them.
it and everything.
The way the
it's
function
flow
of
better
that,
now.
right? The function of that as a filtration system, and that's what retention ponds are. They are storm water collection filtration as it goes down into the aquifer, because anything below the surface of our ground is going, whatever you put on the top is going down through.
They come back in and resod it and everything.
Wow.
Then in the bottom, they scrape the whole bottom, but then they come back and do seed all in the bottom.
Okay.
So when you look over there now, the bottom was scraped, but
It's
now
got
you can see the hay
the little,
coming back up.
little green showing
Yeah,
up now. Yeah.
And he said we do that. We scrape the surface off, soften the surface up sometime so it drains
allows
better.
percolation, allows the percolation to go through. And it could too be that they're disposing of contaminants at the same time, because if they scoop that up and out of there, that's any contaminants that maybe have been sitting down there for 5, 6, 7, 10 years. Whenever the last time
they
was
said
that
was
did.
5 years ago.
Okay, so yeah.
And I mean, you don't think about that because it had grass growing and everything, but you don't think how stagnant that dirt has become.
Exactly. Of things that have collected down in there that can be removed by taking out that top layer of soil out of there and just redoing it, because the grasses do absorb. That's what plants absorb, pollutants. That's why we like to have plants around.
I was amazed at what they did. They shaved the top probably inch and a half off.
Okay.
And then they came in with tillers and tilled the whole thing up. Really beat the dirt up and turned it over and everything.
Right.
and then came back and put the seed on top of that.
Put the seed back on top, and let it
because
do its
it is a filter system.
It
That's
is.
what they're
It
doing.
is.
They're not designed. They're designed to take storm water when it runs off,
Right.
so that it doesn't flood streets and all. But then it filters that.
It's a collection area for stormwater, and that's exactly what it is. It's a percolation pond. It filters down into our aquifer, and we need to watch out for that, and that's why we have to watch out for what we're putting down and when we put down fertilizers and things like that. The reason we don't put nitrogen fertilizers down in the winter months and in the rainy season is because in the wintertime, the plants won't take it up efficiently, and so anytime it does rain or that we irrigate, you're just taking that down into the aquifer area, or should we get a heavy rain event, it does take it out into the stormwater. In the summer months, we know we have all that rain that we don't want that nitrogen source just washing off. Everybody, I'll put my fertilizer down because they said it's going to rain on Thursday. It's like, wait till Friday and put your fertilizer down after it rains. At least you want a few days of putting it down and watering it in. And though I don't really recommend, and neither do sod growers, weed and feed products. If you're putting that down, you need to read and follow the directions. You may need to turn your irrigation system off for a week. Read the directions on when you should water it in. You want it to work efficiently. You don't want to waste your money.
No, you don't want to pour it down the retention pond.
Exactly.
We got to take a break. When we come back, more of your calls, 622-9622. That's 352. We'll be right back after this timeout on Ocala Talks. This is a best of Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin in the garden, so we're not taking calls today. We'll be right back after this timeout. You're listening to Ocala Talks on WOCA, The Source. Talks.
Broadcasting from the Ocala International Airport, this is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
The war in Ukraine has entered day 13. President Zelensky was on ABC News describing Ukrainian courage and resolve.
I'm sure that Ukrainians are prepared to stand against Russia for their entire lives. Even the cities that were occupied by a Russian military, they have seen the response and feedback from ordinary people. These ordinary people didn't have machine guns. This courage is something that is unprecedented, and Russian soldiers don't even have that courage.
Some 60,000 Sydney, Australia residents were under evacuation orders as heavy rains and flash flooding swamped much of Australia's largest city on Tuesday. The severe weather has lashed Australia's east coast since late last month and is blamed for at least 20 deaths. Daylight savings time kicks in this weekend. USA Radio News.
Balance of Nature's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, changing the world one life at a time.
I have religiously taken the Balance of Nature. I haven't missed one day, and I'm loving the product. I feel better. My wife has noticed that I felt better, and I've noticed that I want to get up and go piddle in the garage and, do something that doesn't matter to anybody on earth but me, but I have the energy to where I want to do that. So I really think Balance.
You've heard us talk about the luxurious Giza Dream sheets from MyPillow. Well, now they're on sale, 60% off, as low as $39.99. Lots of other overstock items and a free copy of Mike Lindell's book, What Are the Odds from Crack Addict to CEO, with any purchase, but you've got to use my promo code USA. Go to MyPillow.com, the Radio Listener Square, use my promo code USA, or call 1-800-951-8175.
New arrivals and new savings are waiting for you at Blockers Furniture. With over 80,000 square feet of the best selection and best prices you can find on furniture, mattresses, home accents, accessories, and more. And with new trucks arriving weekly, Blockers has the best available in-stock selection. Unlike many other furniture companies that will have you waiting for months to get what you want or need, come see everything that Blockers has to offer. Blockers Furniture, 2402 Southwest College Road, next to Hobby Lobby.
Are you suffering from neck, back, or leg pain? Go Green CBD Store can help you with holistic, all-natural, lab-tested products that help with pain, stress, anxiety, inflammation, PTSD, and so much more. We stock smokable products, gummies, chocolate, coffee, tea, even pain cream. Yes, we even have treats and oils for your dogs or cats. Go Green CBD is located in the Paddock Mall in the center court. We're open every day. Come in today for a free sample.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Tune in to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors, Sunday mornings at 8 to get answers to your retirement planning questions. Plan today so you can do the things you've always dreamt about doing in retirement. Listen Sunday mornings at 8 to Coasting into Retirement with Gary Marriage of Nature Coast Financial Advisors.
Our firm offers insurance services.
The Ocala Golf Club, one of Ocala's premier golf courses, from its pristine 18-hole course layout to its amazing pro shop. Jason Linhart and the staff at Ocala Golf offer everything that you need for your golf outing. That's the Ocala Golf Club. Experience country club style golf at municipal prices. You won't go wrong with the Ocala Golf Club. Call them for a tee time today, 352-401-6917.
Veterans Helping Veterans USA. Call 352-433-2320. We help veterans and their families with limited financial assistance, counseling, employment referrals, and a food and clothing bank. You can help in making a huge difference in the veterans' lives we serve by donating food, clothing, household items, or direct financial assistance. All donations are tax deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA. 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
Join me this Thursday the 10th when Alan Penska, CEO of the Gainesville Regional Airport, Aaron Porter, Manager PR and Marketing at Gainesville Regional Airport, Debbie Frederick, the COO, University Air Center, and Pam Landis, the Flight School Director at the University Air Center, will be my guests to discuss the Gator Fly-In and Armed Services Appreciation Day happening at the University Air Center on Saturday the 19th. We will be learning all about the exciting events that day with fun, food, and so much more. Be sure to listen this Thursday, the 10th, at 10:30. This is the best of In the Garden with Carol Ann Baldwin. I just played the wrong intro music, that's all.
That's all right.
That's all.
That's quite all right.
Carol Ann's taking your call. 622-9622 is the number to call if you want to ask her any kind of plant-based question. Although she's pretty versed in all kind of areas.
Yeah, we can. Hey, if I can't baffle you or dazzle you with brilliance, I'll baffle you with BS. Yeah, a little bit of fun. We were talking. I mentioned, when we were off the air that going through Facebook and online things, so YouTube, probably all that, you'll see all these plant hacks or gardening hacks, it's the seed starter kind of things, or here you could get all kinds of plants, no work at all kind of things, and there's one that I always think is kind of funny because the picture on it's starting corn seeds from an ear of corn.
Right.
Well, that ear of corn in that picture is cooked.
So the seed pods are dead.
It's dead, right. If you've ever purchased seed corn to plant, it's not fresh kernel. It's mature and dried to a certain moisture level. And that way you can put 2 or 3 every foot, not taking a dry ear of corn and putting it into soil or water or whatever, trying to sprout them all and planting them all in an 8-inch area, because we know that
people
corn
put it in
stalks
that small area.
Well, I mean that's the picture in or that's the video in as one of these hacks. The slice of tomato. Well, I wouldn't want 500 tomato seeds all to come up in one little tiny area to have to then fish apart. If I'm going to do say I have an heirloom tomato and I'm going to save my seed, I'm going to take a tomato and I'm going to take those seeds out. And I'm going to try to wash them off a little bit. But because you got to get that slimy stuff off of them in order to save the seed for the following season. If we're harvesting a tomato in May, we're not going to replant tomato seeds, 3 weeks later because you won't get a good crop. It's our weather and things like that just don't work for that kind of growing. You're going to save those seeds till August or September. So you will have to do a process in order to clean some of those seeds out. Now, some of the ones really do work. I'm seeing one that's going through right now. They've covered their tray, put their seed starter or cutting starter mix it down into almost like a baking dish, it looks like, and then covered it in saran wrap, cut some little slits in it, and did their cuttings. And that way those cuttings would be held up by that saran wrap. The saran wrap's also holding the moisture down there into the soil, so you're not having to mist it nonstop. So some of them are legitimate and make good sense. The African violet one it's playing right now, that works. Planting African violet by the leaf, you can start a whole new plant doing that. And it, very easily, very successfully, kind of a neat project with kids or with anybody. If you've got one, you can multiply that if you want to do it as gifts. Maybe you have a unique color or leaf style, and it works well.
We're giving chia pets away.
You doing the chia pets? Yeah, hey, why not? Yeah, you get a bunch of Bob Rosses going out, or the Mandalorians, yeah.
But when you talk about different ways to do things and these hacks and everything, I get a rule of thumb.
Yeah.
If it's too easy, it probably isn't true.
Correct. Right. Well, but you know what? There are some that are. Like I said, the African violet one. It's trim the stem. Have yourself some nice little starter mix. Poke the stem of the leaf in there. You got the leaf sitting up there. Cover with a baggie, and just so long as that soil's moist, it's going to take root and it's going to work.
Changing out a filter or something versus changing out a motor on a dryer is different too. But when you watch the life hacks on it,
cleaning out the lint trap is right up there with changing out the motor.
Right.
The motor, yeah. But actually changing out the motor isn't that hard if you know.
Well, the video I watched where they had to change out the clutch.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a little.
The guy says you can do this in 15 to 20 minutes.
If you were an experienced
he showed the video and he's doing it and everything.
You could see the cuts.
I'm a video guy.
You could see the cuts.
I didn't even see the cuts. It wasn't even the cuts I saw. I saw the wash machine moving.
Oh, changing
because
positions.
I would see it change, and it's very subtle, but
enough.
It was still enough.
Right. And there were two on here of growing blueberries from seed. For $12 I could buy a plant, and I will get fruit that year. And from seed may take me several years.
And
Bananas.
It's a pain in the neck to keep seeds of a blueberry bush going.
Yeah, to get them started. Here's they're spritzing some banana seed here.
Yeah, just buy a banana tree already going.
And they really don't come up all over inside your planting medium. They come up.
Just buy a foot tall banana tree.
Yeah, for $12, it's gonna grow and do. Now the moss thing, if you're into wanting moss on flower pots, and this is one
we don't have any moss around here though.
Oh, but you can actually buy green moss. You can buy moss, and you can make more of it. No, you can get.
You can come to my house. I'll give you all the Spanish moss you want.
No, I don't want to grow Spanish moss, but like the green fuzzy moss, you can actually take if you've got a piece of that, say on a tree or somewhere, or on the back of a flower pot, and you want to do that as a decor kind of thing. You can take a section of that, throw it in. I would probably use a dedicated blender, so that with the ones that make the margaritas aren't in the same blender as your moss, and use some buttermilk and whirl that all up into like a pasty mix, and you can smear it around on your flower pots on the outside. It will grow that moss.
Really?
It will. That's one of that hack I saw years ago on, of all places, Martha Stewart.
Well, it seems you like that hack.
It was kind of a neat thing that here, mix it up and let it get going. So take all those kind of things with like a grain of salt, and realize that.
A container of salt.
That whole box. The slug remover.
God, that was so fun when I was a kid.
Yes, it was.
Slugs would just stop existing.
Yeah, they just.
And I grew up on a marsh bank in
so
Florida.
you had many of them.
So we had slugs everywhere.
Yeah.
And my mom would come home and go, Why are you killing this?
Slime, this slime ball is left,
There'd be 12, 15 slugs laid out in the driveway. Whole box of Morton salt gone. I'd get tore out of the box for wasted salt. Salt's expensive. You know, at one time they used salt as money. I go, but this ain't that one time. No, that would get you tore out the box.
That still got you in trouble for
She didn't like that I knew.
Of salt.
She didn't like I knew history better than her. I go, Mom, they hadn't used salt since the Byzantine era. Stop. She didn't like that.
No,
she didn't like that.
That's
Especially from a smart aleck 10-year-old.
Wasn't
good.
Not a good outcome. Because you just that's why you got in trouble.
But Well, you talk about different things that are easier that have already been rooted, that have already have been started.
Right.
What are some of the if I'm putting a vegetable garden in, because you can get beans, you can get seed,
or you can get plants.
Yeah, because like Bob Wines now selling 4-packs.
Right.
The plants
already started.
About 6 inches tall.
Right.
What are some of the advantages and disadvantages, seeds versus already started plants?
Oh, the already started plants, the great advantage of that is you didn't have to take the time 6 to 8 weeks ago to start them.
To germinate the seed.
To germinate the seed and having grow light or anything to grow a sturdy enough transplant to put in the garden. These are already started. They're ready to go. You put them in your pot or in your garden, and you're set to go. Anything with a larger seed, to me, squash, green beans, cucumbers, I prefer to start from seed. They're easy to do. And I may start my cucumbers and squash just as to come back as myself in a container because I only want 3 in that little section. I don't want where you buy them from generally the monopoly vegetable and herb grower where you got a 6-inch pot, maybe 6-inch pot, and it's got 12 cucumber plants in it. Well, to do it best, you're going to take out all but 3 or 4.
Right.
So why pay $3.69 for that when for $1.89 I can buy and I can space them down along my grow area or put 2 or 3 in a pot together to where I know I can then take and transplant those out into my garden when they've had a chance to grow and get a good start, nice healthy start. And that's another thing is a little bit of maturity. That you're not having to take that time to grow them to a maturity to put them in the ground, again, that 6-week period. But if you like to experiment with some unusual varieties, you're going to go back to the seed because that way you can find those in a seed catalog or sometimes off the seed racks in the stores that you can find heirloom varieties or organic varieties where the seed actually came from an organic grown plant.
But Carol Ann Baldwin, it's getting warm enough now.
Yeah.
I don't have to germinate these in grow lights and everything. I can actually make a little hole in the ground and just stuff them in. And
some of it, yes,
it'll grow.
You can. Yeah, some of it you can. Yeah, you actually can. You could go ahead and put tomato seed, but what tomato seeds are, we've all sliced a tomato. We see how small they are. Can be a little touchy on that, and sometimes your smaller plants are susceptible to cutworms. Well, even some of your transplants can be to cutworms that will just cut them off right at the soil surface. You come out one morning and poof, the plant's on the ground, and you got it ate half the stem. So.
I remember that I had an aunt, and I remember her vividly doing this in Wisconsin when we go up there on vacation. She's like, "I'll put 5 or 6 seeds in each hole. Mm-hmm. One of them will take root."
Right.
Is there any sense
there
to
was
that?
There was always when it came. I think corn was the one. It was one for the one for the soil, one for the something, one for the crow, and one to grow.
Okay.
And so it was on something like that when you're direct seeding into the garden, and of course that was something old where they you planted a lot of corn in order to have corn for the family for the year. Because it was canned and things like that. So there is. I mean, when I do squash or cucumbers, I usually plant 3 in a section. I don't go as far as like 5, but usually 3. I have a pretty large sized bed that I like to do my squash in, and I'll do 3, maybe 4 spots, each having 3 seeds. I don't do hills. I just, because it's a raised bed. It's 12 inches off the ground, and so I just plant right in it, and it's a grow bag, so it drains pretty well. But I'll put 3 seeds in each of 3 or 4 different sections, and that way I know at least one should be coming up and doing well in case I lose one, and some of that is to insect pest problems or disease problems.
Is this a good time to start buying the equipment that you need to start building your tomato cages and stuff like that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, get out there, and you can either buy the commercially put together ones. There's different ones. There's round ones. There's tall ones. There's short ones. There's square ones that'll fold and put away at the end of the season. There's ones that are in colors, so if you like to have yours match your decor, or you have a favorite color. I actually have a couple red ones because red's like my favorite color, and it's for my tomatoes, so it works for me. And a lot of time, and another way to do if you want to make your own is if you have access to concrete reinforcement wire, the stuff with the big 6-inch holes in them. And that works really well because it's like 5 or 6 feet high.
Field fence.
No, not field fence, because you're looking for big holes that your hand will fit through.
Okay.
So you're looking for a bigger, and the concrete reinforcement wire comes in. I want to say it's probably about a 5-foot roll. You just cut the bottom wire off, and then cut it to the length that's going to make and then one edge, and then that way when you poke those feet in the ground, and you bring that wire around and you bend it right on back, and so you've got a nice big cage that you could actually get your hand through.
I understand, and I have big old hands. So.
Yeah.
Good morning, you're on with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Hugh.
Say, I just wanted to remind everybody, which I'm going to do this afternoon. I'm taking my lawnmower in to have it serviced to get a new blade on stuff. And, we'll be cutting lawn here not too far down the road. And if you wait too long, these places get pretty busy. You might be without a lawnmower for a couple of weeks, and that's not a very good thing.
That's true. That's true. If you need an oil change or you need to change just an annual service on that, this is a good time. Might actually be getting a little late, but it could be that this is as soon as you could get an appointment because other people thinking the same kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, we got another, I think, month before the grass really starts to grow. So there's a little bit of time left, But I know one time way back, I waited till, like April, and then you get it. But the mower got hung up for a couple of weeks, and then when I got the mower back, I kind of used the cycle to cut the grass,
Oh, certainly. Oh, yeah. And again, like you said, changing the blade and that, and here with us, we have some pretty strong, grass that's tough. So you either sharpening the blade or sharpening the blade on an annual basis, and sometimes even more often than that. Commercial guys, I think, sharpen theirs every few days.
Yes.
And so they're replacing blades. They're replacing blades every few months. For us, the homeowner, to sharpen our blades, once or twice a season, replacing the blade probably every couple of years, just gets a better cut, which is healthier for your lawn. A nice sharp blade is healthier for the lawn.
Yeah, a lawnmower blade ain't all that expensive either.
No, they're not.
Because because from experience, when you're cutting your lawn, if you hit a rock or something, you can put a pretty good gash in the blade, and I don't care how much you want to sharpen it. You're just better off buying a brand new blade and be done with it. And it'll do the job perfect.
Exactly. Especially if you have a smaller lawn, I have a push mower or something. That's what I have. I've got like a 21-inch cut push mower, and the blade might cost me $15 or $20. It's nothing to go ahead and have that redone, or do it. If you're able to do it yourself, changing the oil. You got to remember to change the oil. Clean that air filter out, and to clean the air filter is just hot soapy water. Squish it through, rinse it out thoroughly, put a little bit of, you can even use some of your used motor oil when you change the oil, and just put a little bit in there and massage that into that sponge, put it back in. Some of them do have a paper filter. Clean those out every so often, especially if you're in a dustier location or mowing when it's been too dry. Of course, I usually would suggest making sure your grass isn't dry before you're mowing, just as a better benefit to the lawn as well.
Well, right now in the drought we're in there.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're not quite in a drought condition, but we're quite dry. We're down. I think we've only had 23% of our rainfall, or we're down by 23%, I think is.
I think we're down by 23%.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was. Okay. So.
Well, let's hope we catch up.
Yeah.
Please, so, and everybody get your lawnmowers ready because we're going to have one of those great summers again. So
That's it.
You don't want to get caught in a ringer there and have your grass grow up to your kneecaps.
Up to your kneecaps while your mower's in for service. That's right. Thanks, Hugh. Appreciate that.
Okay, thanks, guys. Take care. Bye now.
You will. Yep. You bye. Another thing too is your pruners. We're going to go ahead and start pruning. You can get.
There's nothing worse than a big
dull
set of loppers
and it's dull, and you're sitting there, and if it's a green branch and you're chewing on that branch with your loppers, it's not doing you any. Yeah,
No.
that's actually hurting the plant. Your hand pruners, your shovels and stuff. You can actually do a bucket of sand with oil in it, and that'll clean off dirt and rust, and put a little bit of an oil coating on them. That helps to keep them in better shape. So, take a look at what you've got in the shed, in the garage, what your land, all your garden stuff. I never used to be a gardener who wore gloves, but I do now, and that was after I really got into fire ants a few times.
Tore you up?
Oh, yeah. At least with the gloves, you can actually, I don't know if you can sense them or see them before they get to you. And get those gloves off, take a watch, because you figure all winter long they're up underneath that mulch. They're staying warm. They're keeping their humidity level what they need to be. And so you may not find them as you get in there and you're cleaning out the leaves underneath the trees to put fresh mulch and stuff. But I am a believer in gloves, and not just that, our fertilizers, our soils. If you ever read any of the bags,
those
I know
chemicals get on you.
that they tell you to wear gloves. So, it's one of those things when we're doing our pesticides and our herbicides and things like that, is wear gloves. Read that personal protection information. It's meant for your safety as well as your pets and and everybody else.
I think we should take all warning labels off.
And let Darwin's theory
Yeah,
work.
let Darwin's theory just work out.
Yeah. Don't use the iron while wearing the shirt.
All the stupid people would go away.
Don't use the curling iron in the shower.
Don't use the curling iron in the shower.
Yeah.
Don't eat that item.
Right. Don't put the fork in the toaster while it's plugged in. Mm-hmm.
Take all those warning labels off.
And just, And let's see how it goes. I mean, how did we survive this far?
Without warning labels.
Without warning labels,
I have no idea.
But still, this is, great time to get all that stuff done. We've got a gorgeous weekend coming up. You can get out there and rake up the yard. You can do some mulching. Usually I would probably put off most of your fertilizations until the 1st of March. We're at the 22nd of February now.
So what do we got? 6 days.
We're talking 6 days. So actually come this weekend, you're probably not too early to go ahead and if this is when you've got off in order to start that fertilization, check your irrigation systems.
Can we start pruning this weekend?
I know we've pruned crepe myrtles. If you've needed to prune those, that's okay. The roses, go ahead and prune those. I would, take a look and see, trim down maybe a little bit and give it a chance. If you're redoing, don't go ripping the stuff out that got burnt, because there's a good chance it'll come back. It just takes time for them to recover.
When is a good time? Because I've noticed around town and around the golf course and everything, the weather really wreaked havoc on the pond fronds.
Yes.
On palm trees.
Palm trees, yes.
When is a good time to go up and start clipping all the brown out of those?
The best time is when they actually are totally brown, because they're still feeding the tree if they're green.
Right.
If the tips are just brown, I mean, that's nature.
No, I've seen where it's just
totally
the
brown.
whole lollipop top of it is brown.
If it's brown, again, it is protecting the core of it, that spike that's coming up. But if it's totally brown, you might want to do it and keep an eye on the tree that makes sure that it's going to come back out.
Yeah, because there's a couple 60-foot tall ones.
On
my way home, they're just solid brown.
Oh wow, that's not cool. They're probably queens.
Yeah, they're solid brown at the top. But I mean, think about it. If the ground temperature was 28 degrees,
what was it up
what
that
was
high?
It 40, 50 feet, 60 feet up?
Right. What was it way up there in the sky? Oh yeah, and that's our measure.
But with trunks that long and everything, they're fine. They're not dead.
They shouldn't be.
Right. But sometimes they
are. And we are at that northernmost limit where the queens and the robelinis do really well because they're not extremely cold hardy.
Right.
They're pretty good, but when we get a winter like this, it's sometimes, with Robolinis being multi-trunk, sometimes people will lose one trunk off of that, and that's okay. Pull that out; it's going to make more.
You know the one palm tree though that came through it with no problem. Sagos. Some people with sagos that were really out in the open, those can get burned as well. Oh, okay. Well, I haven't seen any of those, but most of the sagos in my neighborhood now are underneath canopies.
Right.
Carol Ann, we got about a minute and a half. Have we missed anything, or you want to cover anything going into?
I think we're probably pretty good on that. Yeah, you've got the In the Garden Facebook group page. If you've got a question we didn't get covered, hit me up on that, or find me at work down there at Lowe's, and ask for me. They'll point me out. You got to ask to become a member of the Facebook. You do
page.
have to ask to become a member of the page, but I think I've only ever turned down a few people, and it was like, I don't think
you can tell they're clones. Or
yeah,
whatever.
Clones, or it's like, why would you have any interest in this? You don't live in the state, and all the rest of your group pages have nothing to do with gardening.
Stalker.
Yeah. So.
Stalker.
Don't be stalkers.
So you're at the Lady Lake Lowe's.
Lady Lake Lowe's and the In the Garden Facebook group page.
And either place is a good place to either come see you personally or ask questions on In the Garden. How long's your response time usually on In the Garden?
On the In the Garden, I try to hit it up within the day because I'll usually see it as a notification. I'll try to get to it. Sometimes if I miss it, it might be a day or two, but usually pretty quick.
Carol Ann Baldwin, she's here every Tuesday with us in the garden with Master Gardener Carol Ann Baldwin, answering your questions about your gardens, your lawns, your plants, your trees, anything that you have along with those. Carol Ann Baldwin gives advice every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Carol Ann, talk to you next week.
Yep, see you then.
Coming up next, it's Sunrise Auto repair with personal care with Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Auto. I'm a little bit lighter in the pocket, but I'm a little safer now because of Sunrise Auto. We'll talk about that next on WOCA The Source. We'll be right back after this timeout on WOCA The Source.
International Airport. This is WOCA AM, W242CA FM, Ocala, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
USA Radio News with Lance Pry.
Roughly 1.8 million refugees fleeing Ukraine as Russian forces continue their violent and destructive invasion into their neighbor. Ukrainian President Zelensky describes some of the Russian horror.
No military sense, just terror. They also took hostages in Irpin, Buchi, Hostomel, many other towns and settlements, villages where the invaders managed to occupy temporarily.
President Zelensky on the BBC has called for his country to be provided with military aircraft support and a global boycott of Russian oil to help his country's efforts. Congress gave final approval Monday to legislation making lynching a federal hate crime in the United States. The Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act is among some 200 bills that have been introduced over the past century that have tried to ban lynching in America. The bill was sent to President Biden and is expected to be signed into law. USA Radio News.
We're out of the brand name, but we do have the generic version of that.
Serene's Pharmacy can't keep up with allergy season.
Who's next in line?
They need certified technicians to alleviate the headache.
Ma'am, I'm so sorry for the wait. We'll have your prescription filled soon. I need some help.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Bingo fun fact number 6. Americans spend over $90 million weekly on bingo. Why? When you can play Bingo Treasure for free. Go to BingoRadioUSA.com. Play from any device, your smartphone, tablet, or computer. The account is free. The play is free. Play one card. Play more. Chat with other players. Meet new friends. All free at BingoRadioUSA.com. That's BingoRadioUSA.com. Bingo from any device. Hurry. Free accounts are limited.
The USDA's multi-million-dollar gift for students from diverse backgrounds. That's coming up on This Land of Ours.
I'm Agriculture Commissioner Nikki Freed. Everyone knows Florida grows the world's best produce. From citrus to strawberries, watermelon to blueberries, our produce growers feed our families and the world. with over $125 million in annual revenue for growers. The Fresh from Florida program helps Florida farmers stay competitive in a tough marketplace. Learn more at followfreshfromflorida.com.
I love living in a rural community where neighbors help neighbors, even if we don't always agree on sports teams, politics, or the COVID-19 vaccines. We all have our opinions. Getting vaccinated is your choice, and no one can make your mind up for you. Talk to your healthcare provider about your questions to help make a decision that's right for you. GetVaccineAnswers.org has the latest information to help you decide. A message brought to you by the Ad Council.
Southeast AgNet is social. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, where you can be sure to find all of the agriculture news for the Southeast.
The U.S. Department of Agriculture's National Institute of Food and Agriculture announced a $16 million investment in agricultural education and workforce development for students from diverse backgrounds. This gift will ensure that all students, including underrepresented and underserved students in community colleges and universities, are prepared and have a fair opportunity to compete for professional jobs in science and agricultural fields. These investments are part of the Research and Extension Experiences for Undergraduates program, which promotes learning experience for undergraduate students so that they're better prepared, trained, and will have exceptional knowledge and skills when they are ready to enter the agricultural workforce. I'm Kathy Isom, Southeast AgNet.
When it really counts, depend on the source for the latest weather updates, keeping you ahead of the storm. 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
Hello, variable cloudiness today with widely scattered thunderstorms this afternoon. High 84 to 87. Thunderstorms this afternoon will continue through late tonight with a low of 67 to 69. Then Wednesday we'll have a mix of clouds and sunshine. High on Wednesday 87 to 89. Thunderstorm in one or two spots on Thursday. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Holly Holdren.
You know what you want to do in retirement, but do you know how to get there? Join Gary and Don Crawford of Pinnacle Retirement Advisors for Retirement with Pinnacle, Saturday mornings at 9